They did it. They actually did it. After everything Dominik Mysterio sacrificed, his family, his reputation, his own father, Judgment Day just stabbed him in the back like he meant nothing. And you know what the worst part is? We all saw it coming, but nobody wanted to believe it would go down like this. Let me tell you something right now. What happened backstage on Monday Night Raw wasn't just a betrayal. It was personal, it was brutal, and it was the most disrespectful thing Judgment Day has ever done. Dominik Mysterio, the man who turned his back on the legendary Rey Mysterio to join this group, the man who became public enemy #1 for them, just got thrown away like yesterday's trash. And I'm about to break down exactly how this all went down, why it happened, and what this means for the future of WWE. But before we get into the chaos, drop a comment right now and tell me, did Dominik Mysterio deserve this betrayal, or did Judgment Day cross a line they can never come back from? Because the WWE Universe is split right down the middle on this one. Now, let's rewind to Monday Night Raw. The show was already electric, tensions were high, and Judgment Day had a target on their backs. But nobody, and I mean nobody, expected what was about to happen in that backstage segment. Dominik Mysterio was hyping himself up, talking about how Judgment Day was going to dominate, how they were the most dangerous faction in WWE, doing what he always does. Classic Dirty Dom energy, right? But then you could see it. The looks on Finn Balor's face, the way Damian Priest was standing, the silence from Rhea Ripley. Something felt off. The camera work was too deliberate, the tension was too thick, and anyone who's been watching WWE long enough knew that feeling in your gut when something catastrophic is about to happen. And then it happened. Finn Balor, the man who founded Judgment Day, the leader who brought this faction to prominence, stepped forward, and the look in his eyes wasn't frustration, it wasn't disappointment. It was cold, it was calculated, it was the look of a man who had already made his decision, and Dominic had no idea what was coming. Quick question for you, who do you think orchestrated this betrayal? Was it Finn Balor's decision, or was someone else pulling the strings? Let me know in the comments. Finn started talking, and every word that came out of his mouth was like a dagger. He talked about how Dominic had become a liability. How Dirty Dom was more concerned with the fame, the attention, the drama with his family than he was with Judgment Day's success. He said Dominic had become soft, that he was riding the coattails of the faction instead of contributing to its legacy. And then Balor said the words that changed everything: Judgment Day doesn't carry dead weight. You could see Dominic's face drop. The color drained from his face like someone had just ripped his soul out. He tried to protest, tried to explain himself, tried to remind them of everything he'd done. I turned on my father for you. I sacrificed everything for this group. But his words fell on deaf ears. Damian Priest stepped up next, and this is where it got brutal. Priest, the man who had been like a big brother to Dominic, the man who mentored him, the man who protected him, looked Dominic dead in the eyes and said, "You're not one of us anymore." No emotion, no hesitation, just cold, hard rejection. But it was Rhea Ripley who delivered the final blow, and this one hurt the most. Mummy, the woman Dominic would have done anything for, the woman he worshipped, the woman he stood beside through everything, looked at him with pure disgust. She didn't even need to say much. She just shook her head, turned her back on him, and walked away. That single action spoke volumes. In that moment, Dominik Mysterio wasn't just kicked out of Judgment Day, he was erased. And then it got physical. Damian Priest and Finn Balor jumped Dominic. They beat him down in that backstage area like he was nothing. Dominic tried to fight back, you could see him swinging, trying to defend himself, but it was 2-on-1. They overpowered him, they destroyed him, and they left him lying on the cold concrete floor like a broken man. Security had to rush in to separate them, but the damage was already done. Judgment Day had sent their message loud and clear: Dominik Mysterio is done. Now here's a question I need you to answer. Do you think Dominic should go crawling back to his father Rey Mysterio, or should he seek revenge on Judgment Day? Comment below. Let's talk about why this happened, because there's so much more to this than just Dominic screwed up. If you've been paying attention to WWE programming over the last few months, you could see the cracks forming in Judgment Day. They've been losing. Their momentum has stalled. They are not the dominant, unstoppable force they were a year ago. And in WWE, when a faction starts losing, somebody has to take the blame. That somebody was Dominik Mysterio. But here's the real reason this betrayal stings so much: Dominic gave up everything for Judgment Day. Think about it. He turned on Rey Mysterio, one of the greatest luchadors of all time, his own flesh and blood, a clash at the castle. He became the most hated man in WWE. He had arenas full of fans booing him, throwing things at him, chanting horrible things about him. He embraced being the villain because Judgment Day told him that's what he needed to do. And what did he get in return? He got used. He got manipulated. And when he was no longer useful, he got discarded. This is what makes this betrayal so evil. Judgment Day didn't just kick Dominic out, they humiliated him. They made him look weak. They destroyed whatever credibility he had left. And the worst part, he probably should have seen it coming. Because if there's one thing we know about fact irons in WWE, it's that they always turn on each other. Always. Think about this, which faction betrayal was worse, Judgment Day turning on Dominic, or the Bloodline turning on Sami Zayn? Drop your answer below. So where does Dominik Mysterio go from here? Because let's be real, he's in the worst position of his career right now. He can't go back to Judgment Day. They made it crystal clear that he's not welcome. But can he go back to his family? Can he go back to Rey Mysterio after everything he said, everything he did? That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Because Rey Mysterio has every right to slam the door in Dominic's face. Rey tried to help him. Rey tried to save him from Judgment Day. Rey fought for his son, and Dominic spat in his face time and time again. So if Dominic shows up asking for forgiveness, asking for a second chance, what's Rey supposed to do? Part of me thinks Rey, being the man he is, would eventually forgive his son. Family is everything to Rey Mysterio. We've seen that throughout his entire career. But another part of me thinks Rey might make Dominic earn that forgiveness. Make him prove that he's changed, that he's learned from his mistakes, that he's truly remorseful for what he's done. Or, and this is where it gets interesting, maybe Dominic doesn't go to Rey at all. Maybe Dominic decides to go on a path of vengeance. Maybe he decides that if Judgment Day wants to throw him away like trash, then he's going to make them regret it. Maybe we're about to see a darker, more vicious version of Dominik Mysterio who's out for blood and won't stop until he destroys every single member of Judgment Day. Here's what I want to know from you. Should WWE give Dominic a redemption arc, or should he become an even bigger villain? Let me hear your thoughts. And let's talk about Judgment Day for a second, because they are not in a great position either. Yeah, they just kicked out their weakest link, but at what cost? They just made themselves a massive target. Every babyface in WWE is going to be gunning for them now. And Dominic? He knows all their secrets. He knows how they operate. He knows their weaknesses. If Dominic decides to go to war with Judgment Day, he has all the ammunition he needs to take them down. Plus, let's not forget about the WWE Universe. The fans are angry right now. Some are angry at Judgment Day for being so heartless. Others are angry at Dominic for being so stupid and naive. But everyone is talking about it, and that's exactly what WWE wants. This betrayal has created buzz. It has people invested. And whether you love it or hate it, you have to admit, this storyline has legs. This could be the beginning of the end for Judgment Day. Or it could be the beginning of their evolution into something even more dangerous. Because now they've proven they are willing to do whatever it takes to stay on top, even if that means destroying one of their own. As for Dominik Mysterio, this is his defining moment. This is where he either rises from the ashes and becomes a star, or he fades into obscurity as the guy who got kicked out of the faction he sacrificed everything for. The ball is in his court. The question is, what's he going to do with it? One thing's for certain, Monday Night Raw just changed everything. Judgment Day betrayed Dominik Mysterio in the most brutal way possible, and the fallout from this is going to be massive. We're talking WrestleMania-level storylines brewing right now. We're talking career-defining matches on the horizon. And we're talking about a WWE universe that is more invested in this storyline than they've been in months. So let me ask you one final question before we wrap this up. Where do you think this storyline is heading? Do you think Dominic reunites with Rey Mysterio? Do you think he gets revenge on Judgment Day? Or do you think WWE has something completely different planned that we're not seeing coming? Drop your predictions in the comments because I want to hear all your theories. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more Wrestling Zone content covering all the latest WWE drama, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you think this betrayal was insane, smash that like button and share this video with your wrestling friends because everyone needs to be talking about what just went down on Raw. Judgment Day just made the biggest mistake of their careers. And Dominik Mysterio? He's about to show them exactly what happens when you betray the wrong person. This story is far from over, and I'll be here covering every twist and turn along the way. Wrestling Zone, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned, stay loyal, and keep watching because WWE is about to get real interesting.